I'm heading home from a tow call on Highway 70 when I spot the Mercedes pulled off on the gravel shoulder. Hazards blinking in the fading light. City car mountain road. I already know what I'm going to find before I even slow down. The woman who steps out is dressed for a boardroom, not a breakdown. Business suit that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage payment. Heels that have no business on a mountain highway. She's holding her phone up, watching the signal bars flicker between 1 and none. I pull my F-250 over behind her and kill the engine. Engine trouble. She turns, and something hits me square in the chest. Can't explain it. She's beautiful, sure, but that's not what stops me. It's her eyes, the way they widen slightly when she sees me, like I'm someone she recognizes, someone she's been looking for, but I've never seen this woman before in my life. Have I? It won't start. Her voice is steady, professional, but I catch the edge of frustration underneath. I don't know what's wrong with it. Mind if I take a look? She hesitates for just a second, the kind of pause that comes from years of being careful around strangers, then nods. Please. I pop the hood and lean in. Battery terminals are loose. Happens sometimes, especially on these luxury models where everything's engineered to tight tolerances and any vibration can work things free. 2 minutes with a wrench and I've got it tightened down. Try it now. She slides into the driver's seat, turns the key. The engine purrs to life like it never had a problem in the first place. When she steps back out, there's relief written all over her face. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. I close the hood, wipe my hands on the rag from my back pocket. Just a loose battery terminal. Happens sometimes. She's already reaching for her purse. Let me pay you. Seriously, how much do I owe you? Nothing. No, really, I insist. It took you. I don't charge neighbors for roadside help. But I'm not a neighbor. I'm from Denver. Then consider it Colorado hospitality. I can see she wants to argue, but something in my face must tell her I'm serious. Instead, she pulls out a business card and presses it into my hand. Then at least take this. If you ever need anything at all, please call me. I glance at the card. Victoria Mitchell, CEO, Mitchell Logistics. My eyebrows go up before I can stop them. A CEO. Of course she is. Well, I hope the rest of your drive goes smoother. Thank you again. Really. She gives me one more smile, warm and genuine in a way that makes my pulse do something I haven't felt in 4 years, then gets back in her Mercedes. I watch her pull onto the highway, watch her taillights grow smaller until they disappear around the curve. I stand there longer than I should, that business card in my hand, trying to figure out why a complete stranger feels so damn familiar. By the time I pull into my driveway, the sun's almost down. Emma's backpack is on the porch. She beat me home again. Kid's got a key and the independence to use it, which is both a relief and a source of constant low-level panic for me. I find her at the kitchen table, math homework spread out in front of her pencil, tapping against her teeth while she stares at a word problem about trains leaving stations. Hey kiddo, how was school? Fine. She doesn't look up. We're learning about velocity. It's basically speed with direction. I know what velocity is. Then why do so many people say speed when they mean velocity? Now she looks at me, eyebrow raised in that way that's pure Annie. It's scientifically incorrect. I bite back a smile. 8 years old and already policing people's physics terminology. You got me there. Dinner in 20... What are we having? I open the freezer, survey the options. Looks like chicken nuggets or pizza. We had pizza yesterday. Nuggets it is. While the oven preheats, Emma asks about my day with the casual tone of someone who's actually listening for subtext. She's been doing that more lately, cataloging my mood, my energy, like she's trying to predict incoming weather. Anything interesting happen? Helped a woman whose car broke down on Highway 70. Did you get her number? There's a teasing edge to it, but underneath I hear the real question. Are you interested in someone? She's not from our world, kiddo. Just a stranded motorist. Emma goes back to her homework, but I catch the slight slump in her shoulders. She wants me to be happy, I know she does, but she's also terrified of what that might mean, of who it might bring into our lives. of losing someone else. After dinner, after homework, after the nightly negotiation about screen time, I tuck her into bed. She's getting too old for this probably, but neither of us is ready to give it up yet. Dad? Her voice is small in the dark. Yeah, sweetheart. Do you think Mom would be mad if you liked someone new? The question hits me like a fist to the sternum. Where's this coming from? Just wondering. I sit on the edge of her bed searching for the right words. Your mom loved us both more than anything. She'd want us to be happy. But you don't need to worry about that right now. Okay? Okay. She doesn't sound convinced. I kiss her forehead, tell her I love her, and close her door to a crack. Then I stand in the hallway for a long minute, staring at Annie's photo on the wall. Wedding day. She's laughing at something off camera, her whole face lit up with joy. 4 years. 4 years since the accident, and I still can't look at that picture without my chest tightening. I should sleep. I've got 3 cars to finish tomorrow and a parts order that's already late. Instead, I'm lying in bed at midnight, phone in hand, Googling Victoria Mitchell CEO. The results flood in. Forbes articles, business profiles, photos from charity galas and industry conferences. She built Mitchell Logistics from nothing, a one-woman startup that became a logistics empire worth hundreds of millions. Self-made billionaire, 40 under 40, the whole success story package. I scroll through images. Recent photos show her in power suits commanding boardrooms, shaking hands with politicians and executives. But then I find an older article maybe 10 years back and the photo attached makes me freeze. She's thinner, darker hair, glasses, standing in front of a much smaller office with a look on her face that's half terror, half determination. Something about that photo won't let go. The angle of her jaw, the way she holds her shoulders braced like she's expecting a blow that might never come. I've seen that posture before, but where I stare at the image until my eyes burn trying to place it. College, maybe. Did we have a class together? No. I was only at UC for 3 semesters before Mom got sick. I barely remember anyone from those days except I close the browser before my brain can finish that thought. It's late. I'm tired. CEOs don't circle back to thank mechanics for roadside assistance. Tomorrow she'll be back in Denver living her high-powered life, and I'll be back under a Chevy Silverado with a transmission that needs rebuilding. That's how the world works. But sleep doesn't come easy. And when it does, I dream about physics class and a girl whose name I can't quite remember. I'm elbow deep in a Dodge Ram's engine bay when Diane calls from the front office. Jake, you've got a visitor. Tell them I'll be out in 10. I think you'll want to see this one now. There's something in her voice, amusement mixed with curiosity, that makes me wipe my hands and head for the lobby. And that's when I see her. Victoria Mitchell, CEO, standing in my waiting area, holding 2 bags from some upscale Denver deli, looking simultaneously out of place and completely comfortable. Everything okay with your car? The words come out before my brain catches up. The car's perfect. She smiles and it does that thing to my pulse again. I brought lunch. To say thank you properly. If you have time. I glance back at the shop. 3 vehicles waiting. Parts delivery coming in an hour. Every rational reason to say no. Yeah, I can take a break. We end up at the coffee shop next door, Mountain Ground's locally owned best coffee in Ridgemont, and that's not saying much. She's picked a table by the window where anyone walking by can see us. Smart. Safe. I appreciate that she's thinking about how this looks. The sandwiches are from some place I've never heard of, wrapped in paper that probably costs more than the ingredients. I unwrap mine, trying not to think about what she paid to drive 90 minutes to bring me lunch. You didn't have to do this. I wanted to. Most people would have just sent a Venmo. Most people aren't trying to... She trails off, catches herself. I'm not most people. I take a bite of the sandwich. It's good. Really good, but I'm barely tasting it. Because I'm watching her watch me, and there's something in her eyes that makes my stomach knot up. Can I ask you something? Of course. Yesterday, when you gave me your card, Victoria Mitchell, CEO, you're that Victoria Mitchell. I looked you up last night. Her expression shifts. Fear. Relief. I can't tell. You've done incredible things, built an empire from nothing apparently, so why are you really here? For a long moment, she doesn't answer, just stares at her sandwich like it holds the secrets of the universe. I told you. To thank you. People like you don't drive 90 minutes each way to bring lunch to a small-town mechanic. So what is this really about? She sets down her sandwich. Her hands are shaking slightly. We didn't always live in different worlds. The words hang between us. I set down my own food, suddenly not hungry at all. What do you mean? She takes a breath, the kind you take before jumping off something high. University of Colorado. 15 years ago. We had physics together. Professor Morrison's class. My mind goes blank. UC. Physics. 15 years ago. I was only there for 3 semesters. Had to leave when my mom got sick. October 23rd. Her voice is barely above a whisper now. Outside the library. Do you remember? And just like that, my brain slams into a memory I haven't thought about in over a decade. October. Cold night. I'm walking back from the engineering building when I hear voices. Men's voices slurred with alcohol saying things that make my blood pressure spike. A girl backed against the library wall. Frat letters on the guys' jackets. That particular brand of entitled aggression that comes from being drunk and in a pack. I'd stepped in, told them to back off, used the voice my dad taught me, calm, authoritative, the kind that makes people think twice about pushing further. They'd hesitated. Calculated odds decided a sober guy who looked like he worked construction wasn't worth the trouble. Then I'd walked her home. We'd talked for hours on the dorm steps, about everything and nothing. She'd told me about wanting to change the world through business, about proving someone from her background could build something meaningful. I'd shared my dreams of working with my hands, maybe owning my own shop someday. When the sun came up, I'd kissed her. Soft, tentative, like she was something precious that might break. And then, there was a girl. The words come out rough. Some guys were hassling her outside the library. I walked her home. Tori's eyes fill with tears. That was me, Jake. I'm staring at her now, really staring, trying to peel away the expensive haircut, the professional polish, 15 years of transformation. And then I see it. The way she tilts her head when she's nervous, the way she holds her coffee cup with both hands like she needs the warmth. Small details I'd forgotten I remembered. Holy shit. I looked for you. Tears spill over now. After you disappeared, I tried everything to track you down, asked everyone who might know where you'd gone, but you'd deleted your social media, changed your number. I had to. My own throat is tight. Mom was dying. I couldn't afford school and her treatment both. Had to come home, get a job, try to keep her alive as long as possible. I run a hand through my hair. And I looked for you too, but I didn't have your number. Didn't even know your last name. You were just Tori from physics class. Parker. Tori Parker. She wipes at her eyes. That was my mother's name. I changed it after graduation. Wanted to leave that version of myself behind. My hands are shaking now. I grip my coffee cup to hide it. That night, when we talked until dawn, when I can't finish the sentence. I've thought about you constantly. For 15 years, I measured every man I met against you. I built my entire company trying to become someone who would be, her voice breaks, someone who would be worthy of the girl you stayed up all night talking to. The weight of that lands like a physical blow. She built an empire, because of me, because of one night 15 years ago when I'd done the bare minimum of being a decent human being. And I'd forgotten her. Not on purpose, not maliciously, but I'd moved on. Met Annie, fell in love, got married, had Emma, built a whole life while Tori Parker was out there in Denver building her own life and thinking about me. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. She's trying to smile through tears. I just needed to see you, to know if what I remembered was real or if I'd built it up into something it never was. Tell me about you. After I left, what happened? She takes a shaky breath, composes herself with visible effort. My mom was an alcoholic. I grew up wearing second-hand clothes, working the cafeteria job between classes to afford food. That scholarship was my only way out of a life I couldn't survive. Her voice is steadier now, falling into what sounds like a well-rehearsed narrative. When you walked me home that night, you talked to me like I was a person, not a charity case, not someone to pity, just a person with thoughts worth hearing. I remember that now. How she'd lit up when talking about business theory, about supply chains and logistics like they were poetry. After you left, I channeled everything into school, graduated with honors, got a job at a logistics firm, learned the industry saved every penny, started Mitchell Logistics with $20,000 and a dream. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Built it into something worth hundreds of millions. Got everything I said I wanted that night. And I'm lonelier than I was when I was that scared college kid eating ramen in her dorm. She meets my eyes. I go home to a penthouse where no one's waiting. I attend events where people want things from me but don't actually know me. I've succeeded by every metric I set for myself, and it's empty, Jake. All of it. Before I can respond, the bell over the coffee shop door jingles, and I watch Tori's face change as she looks past me toward the window. Is that? I turn. The yellow school bus is pulling up to the stop across the street, and Emma's getting off, backpack covered in NASA patches, heading straight for the coffee shop because she knows I'm here. This is it, the moment where my two worlds collide. That's my daughter. Tori's face does something complicated, wonder and fear and longing all mixed together. The door opens. Emma walks in, spots me, starts to smile, then sees Tori and stops cold. Emma approaches our table slowly, her eyes moving between me and Tori with the kind of assessment that makes me simultaneously proud and heartbroken. My daughter learned young that adults aren't always safe, that people leave, that you have to evaluate threats before they materialize. Hey kiddo, this is Tori, an old friend from college. Tori extends her hand. Hi Emma, it's nice to meet you. Emma looks at the offered hand but doesn't take it. Instead, she turns to me with that brutal 8-year-old directness that cuts through all pretense. Are you going to be Dad's girlfriend? I nearly choke on my coffee. Emma, that's not... We're just talking. But you brought her lunch. Emma's gaze swings back to Tori, cataloging the expensive clothes, the designer purse, the everything that screams money. You must want something. I wanted to thank your dad. He helped me when my car broke down yesterday. Dad helps everybody when their cars break down. Matter of fact, no warmth, but no hostility either. Just Emma being Emma, protective and wary in equal measure. That's just what he does. Then he's a good person. I know. Emma adjusts her backpack straps. Can we go home, Dad? I'm hungry and I have homework about friction and you promised to help. The dismissal is clear. This stranger has taken up enough of her father's time. I look at Tori apologetically. I should, of course. She's already gathering her things, understanding written all over her face. Thank you for having lunch with me. Emma's already heading for the door, clearly expecting me to follow immediately. I stand, then pause. This is a lot. You showing up after 15 years. I need to think about what it means, what you want. I understand. Emma comes first, always. If you're going to be around, you need to understand that she's been through enough. I won't let anyone hurt her, not even you. Something flashes across Tori's face, respect maybe, or recognition of a boundary clearly drawn. I would never want to hurt her. Or you. Good. I walk toward the door where Emma's waiting arms, crossed face set in that expression that means we're going to have a conversation tonight whether I want to or not. But before I leave, I turn back one more time. Come to Emma's science fair, Friday night 6 p.m., Ridgemont Elementary. If you're serious about understanding my life, start there. Emma's already in the truck door closed, waiting with exaggerated patience. But Tori's followed me out to the porch, and there's something in her face that makes me stop. I'm sorry. I should have thought about how this would affect her. Showing up like this? No warning. You couldn't have warned me. I didn't remember you until you spelled it out. She flinches, and I realize how harsh that sounded. That came out wrong. I just mean 15 years is a long time. I built a whole life. Met Annie, got married, had Emma. You were... I struggle for words that won't hurt her more than I already have. You were this beautiful memory I'd mostly forgotten, and now you're standing in front of me and you're real, and I don't know what to do with that. I can go. I can go back to Denver and leave you alone, and you can forget about me again. I don't want to forget you again. The words surprise me as much as they seem to surprise her. But I can't just dive into this, whatever this is. I'm not that college kid anymore, Tori. I'm a widower raising a daughter who lost her mother when she was 4. I fix cars to pay the bills, and I go home to microwave dinners because I never learned to cook anything else. That's my life. It's small and it's simple, and it's nothing like what you've built. Who says I built something better? The question stops me cold. You have a company worth hundreds of millions. You close deals and command boardrooms and have your face in Forbes magazine. I change oil and replace brake pads and hope I have enough left over at the end of the month to take Emma to a movie. And you have a daughter who loves you. A community that knows your name. Work that matters to real people having real problems. I have none of that. We stand there in the cooling afternoon, the weight of 15 years and 2 completely different lives pressing down between us. You should go back to Denver, back to your empire and your meetings and your life that makes sense. What if I don't want to go back? Then you need to understand something. I look toward the truck where Emma's watching us through the windshield. She comes first, always. If you're going to be around, if you're going to whatever this is, she's part of it. And she's not easy. She's protective and scared, and she doesn't trust people who might leave. I'm not asking to replace anyone. Good, because Annie will always be part of our family. Always. Her memory, her impact on Emma, the life we built before she died that doesn't just disappear because you and I knew each other 15 years ago. Tori nods, wiping at her eyes. I understand. Do you? Because sometimes I wonder if people who've built what you've built can really understand what it's like to live small. To have your whole world fit in a 3-bedroom house and a daughter's smile. The words are harsher than I intended, but they're true, and she needs to hear them. I don't understand your life. I don't know what it's like to raise a child alone or run a business where you actually know every customer's name. But I want to learn. I want to understand. That has to count for something. It does count, more than I want to admit. Science fair, Friday at 6. If you show up, we'll talk. If you don't, I shrug. Then I'll know this was just nostalgia talking. I walk to the truck before she can respond. Before I can change my mind. Before I can do something stupid like pull her into my arms and kiss her the way I did 15 years ago when the world felt full of possibility. Emma doesn't say anything when I climb in, just stares straight ahead as we pull out of the parking lot. It's not until we're halfway home that she speaks. Do you like her? The question is quiet, scared. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out. She seems nice. Emma picks at her backpack strap. But so did Miss Peterson at school before she moved away. And there it is, the heart of Emma's fear. People leave. Teachers move away. Mothers die in car accidents. Strangers who seem nice might turn out to be temporary. You're right to be careful. It's smart to protect yourself. But sometimes protecting yourself means you also keep out the good things, the people who might actually stay. How do you know which ones will stay? I wish I had an answer to that. I wish I could promise her that Tori or anyone would stick around, but I learned the same lesson Emma's learning: you can't know. You can only hope and trust and take the risk. You don't know. You just have to decide if they're worth the risk of finding out. That night, I help Emma with her friction homework at the kitchen table. She's building a miniature experiment with wood blocks and sandpaper, measuring the force needed to move objects across different surfaces. Friction is the resistance that happens when two surfaces slide against each other, she recites from her textbook. Then she looks up at me. Is that lady going to come around a lot? The question catches me off guard, even though I should have expected it. I don't know yet. How would you feel about that? Emma pushes the wood block across the sandpaper, watching it slow down. I don't know. She seems nice. But so did Miss Peterson at school before she moved away mid-year. Right. Miss Peterson, Emma's second-grade teacher who'd taken a job in California over winter break. Another adult who'd been there one day and gone the next. That must have been hard. I made her a card and everything. Emma's voice is matter-of-fact, but I hear the hurt underneath. She said she'd email me. She never did. I want to promise her that Tori's different, that this woman who drove 90 minutes to bring me lunch won't just disappear, but I can't make promises I don't know I can keep. You're smart to be careful. It's okay to protect your heart. Did you protect yours when you met Mom Annie? The question stops me, because the answer is no. I'd fallen for Annie fast and hard, met her at a community barbecue 6 months after I'd come home to take care of my dying mother, and she'd been this bright, warm elementary teacher who'd made me laugh for the first time in months. No, I didn't protect my heart with your mom. I jumped in with both feet. And then she died. The bluntness of it, the way kids can say devastating things without any cushioning, makes my chest tight. Yeah, she did. So maybe protecting your heart is smarter. I set down her pencil, turn her chair so she's facing me. Baby, I'm not going to lie to you. Losing your mom was the worst thing that ever happened to me, except for watching you lose her, which was even worse. Her eyes are getting wet, and mine probably are too. But I wouldn't trade the years I had with her for anything, even knowing how it ended. The love was worth the pain. How do you know? Because I have you. And every time I look at you, I see the best parts of her. That's not pain. That's a gift. Emma wipes at her eyes with the back of her hand. Do you think Tori could be like that, worth the risk? I don't know yet. That's what I'm trying to figure out. She goes back to her homework, pushing blocks across different surfaces, recording measurements. But before bed, she stops in the doorway of her room. If you decide she's worth the risk, I'll try too. Because you deserve to be happy, Dad, even if it's scary. I hug her so hard she squeaks in protest, but she hugs back just as tight. After she's asleep, I lie in my own bed, staring at the ceiling. Annie's photo is on the nightstand, same spot it's been for 4 years. Wedding day. She's laughing, face lit up with pure joy. I don't know what I'm doing, I tell the photo, like she can hear me, like she might answer. This woman, Tori, she knew me before you did. And she's been carrying this torch for 15 years while I forgot she existed. And now she's here, and I'm feeling things I haven't felt since you died. And I don't know if that's okay. The photo doesn't respond. Of course it doesn't. But I remember what Annie said in those final days in the hospital, when we both knew she wasn't coming home. When she'd actually made me promise that I wouldn't spend my life alone. Find someone who makes you laugh, she'd said, her voice weak but fierce. Find someone Emma can love. Don't you dare martyr yourself to my memory, Jake Sullivan. I won't have it. I'd promised. Through tears, barely able to speak, I'd promised, but this is the first time since then that I've even considered keeping that promise. Wednesday morning, Diane corners me in the shop office with 2 cups of coffee and the expression that means she's about to meddle in my personal life. So, she settles into the chair across from my desk. Want to tell me about the CEO who brought you lunch yesterday? How do you already know about that? Jake, this is Ridgemont. Word travels. Plus your CEO friend has been working from the coffee shop every morning this week. Laptop open, taking video calls, watching your shop through the window like it's her personal entertainment. My stomach does something complicated. She's still here. Rented a cabin on Pine Ridge Road. Very nice woman. We had a conversation this morning. You interrogated her, you mean? I prefer the term protective inquiry. Diane's smile is sharp. I asked her what she was doing here. And you know what she said? I wait. She said she's trying to figure out if she made a mistake 15 years ago. Or if she's making one now. Diane sets down her coffee. So I told her very clearly that you and Emma don't need someone who's going to waltz in, stir everything up, then leave when it gets complicated. Diane, and she said, I'm not planning to leave. So I asked her, you planning to stay? Run an empire from a coffee shop in a town of 5,000 people. Diane leans back. Want to know what she said to that? I'm guessing you're going to tell me regardless. She said she doesn't know yet, that she's trying to figure out what matters more, the empire she built, or the reason she built it in the first place. The words land heavy in the small office. Outside, I can hear Tommy running the diagnostic on a Subaru, the familiar sounds of the shop doing its work. What did you say to that? I told her you're worth staying for, but only if she's sure. Because Emma's been through enough and you've been through enough, and this town doesn't need some corporate hotshot playing at small-town life before running back to her penthouse when she gets bored. Jesus, Diane. Someone had to say it. She stands, picks up her coffee. For what it's worth, I think she's genuine. Scared out of her mind, but genuine. The question is whether you're brave enough to take the risk. After she leaves, I pull out my phone, open Google, type Victoria Mitchell again. This time I'm not looking at her success story. I'm looking at the photos, trying to see past the CEO persona to the girl underneath. The one who'd talked to me about dreams until the sun came up. The one who'd looked at me like I'd hung the moon just for walking her home. I find a recent interview, some podcast about women in business. Listen to her talk about building Mitchell Logistics from nothing, about the challenges of being a woman in a male-dominated industry, about the sacrifices required for success. The interviewer asks, "Any regrets?" There's a long pause. Then, "I regret that I let work become everything. That I measured success by metrics that left me empty. That I spent 15 years trying to become someone I thought mattered instead of being someone who actually connected with other human beings. Would you do anything differently?" Another pause. "I'd be braver about the things that actually mattered." I close the browser before I can talk myself into calling her. Friday evening, I'm running late. A tow call on Highway 70, some tourist with a blown tire, takes longer than expected. By the time I pull into Ridgemont Elementary's parking lot, the science fair has already started. I rush into the gymnasium scanning for Emma's project, and that's when I see them. Emma at her table in the back corner, her poster board titled "Generating Electricity from Friction in Daily Life" in careful letters, and Tori Victoria Mitchell, CEO, kneeling beside my daughter. Both of them working on something with focused intensity. I approach slowly, not wanting to interrupt. If we fold the cards into triangles, we can create a stable support structure. It's basic physics, weight distribution across 3 points. Like a tripod. Exactly like a tripod. I get close enough to see the problem. Emma's poster board is tilting backward, the whole display threatening to collapse. And Tori's pulling business cards out of her purse, folding them with practiced precision, wedging them under the base at specific angles. The board stops tilting, holds steady even when Emma tests it with cautious pressure. "How did you know to do that?" Tori glances up, sees me watching, and smiles. "Your dad taught me. Same physics class where we met. He explained structural support using car parts and real-world examples. Made it all make sense in a way textbooks never did." Something in my chest cracks open. She came. After everything I said about boundaries and protecting Emma and not knowing if this was worth the risk, she came. And she's not just here. She's kneeling on a gymnasium floor in an expensive suit using her business cards to save my daughter's science project. Emma spots me. "Dad, you made it." I cross to them, noticing how Tori stands, brushes off her skirt, gives me space to be the parent. "Sorry I'm late, kiddo. Tow call ran long." "It's okay. Tori helped me." There's something in Emma's voice, not quite warmth, but less hostility than 2 days ago. My board was falling, and she fixed it with physics. I see that. I look at the display more carefully. The prototype, she's built a floor mat connected to LED lights that glow when you walk on it. The charts showing projected energy output from different friction sources. "This is incredible work, Emma. You should be proud. The judges are coming in 2 minutes." That edge of panic creeps in. Do I look okay? Is my presentation memorized enough? "You're going to be amazing." And she is. When the 3 judges approach teachers, I recognize from parent-teacher conferences. Emma launches into her explanation with confidence that makes my chest swell. She walks them through her hypothesis, her methodology, her findings. Answers their technical questions without hesitation. I stand back with Tori, watching my daughter shine. She's brilliant. Gets it from her mom. Annie was an elementary teacher. She had this way of making complicated things simple for kids. Emma inherited that gift. "You must miss her." "Every day." I glance at Tori. "But I'm learning that missing someone doesn't mean you can't also move forward. That loving someone who's gone doesn't mean you can't love someone who's here." Her breath catches. But before she can respond, Emma's running back to us, face flushed with excitement. "They said my project showed sophisticated understanding of energy conversion, and my prototype was one of the best working models they'd seen." "That's my girl." I scoop her up in a hug, even though she's getting too big for this. "I'm so proud of you." When I set her down, she looks at Tori with something new in her expression. Not quite trust, but the beginning of possibility. "Thank you for helping with my board." "Thank you for letting me help." Emma tugs on my sleeve. "Can Tori come for ice cream? You make really good sundaes at home." The invitation surprises all of us. Me, Tori, probably. Emma herself. This is my daughter opening a door she's kept locked since her mother died, offering to share our space, our rituals, our family traditions with someone new. I look at Tori. She's trying not to look too hopeful, but I can see it in her eyes. "That okay with you, Dad?" Yeah, that's okay. More than okay. My kitchen has never felt smaller than it does with 3 people in it. Emma's showing Tori the proper chocolate to vanilla ice cream ratio, while I heat up the hot fudge, and somehow we've fallen into this rhythm that feels both foreign and natural. "You have to get the swirl right," Emma explains with the seriousness of a scientist. "Too much chocolate and it's overwhelming. Too much vanilla and it's boring." "What's the ideal ratio?" 60-40, chocolate to vanilla. I've tested it." Of course you have. I watched them together, this CEO in her expensive suit now, with her sleeves rolled up, taking ice cream advice from an 8-year-old, and my daughter, who's been so guarded, so careful, actually smiling. Secret to good hot fudge is adding a tiny bit of espresso powder, intensifies the chocolate without making it taste like coffee. "Where'd you learn that?" "Annie. She was the cook in this family. I'm just following her recipes and hoping I don't screw them up too badly. We carry our sundaes to the table. Emma dives into hers with the single-minded focus she brings to everything. Tori takes a careful bite, and her eyes close. Oh my God. This is better than anything I've had at a five-star restaurant. That's because Dad makes them with love, Emma says around a mouthful of ice cream. Mom Annie used to say that's the secret ingredient nobody writes down in recipes. The casual mention of Annie, not sad, not painful, just matter-of-fact, feels like progress. Like maybe we're all learning how to hold space for the past while making room for the present. Emma finishes first chocolate smeared at the corner of her mouth. Can I watch a show before bed? One episode. Then teeth in pajamas. She's gone before I can blink, leaving me and Tori alone in the kitchen with melting ice cream and the weight of everything unspoken between us. You don't have to stay if you have somewhere to be. Work or meetings or whatever CEOs do on Friday nights. I don't have anywhere to be. She stands, helps me carry dishes to the sink. That's kind of the problem. What does that mean? She's quiet for a long moment, hands in soapy water, staring at the dishes like they hold answers. It means I built this empire everyone's so impressed by, and it's empty, Jake. I go home to a penthouse where no one's waiting. I attend events where people want things from me but don't actually know me. Her voice cracks. I've succeeded by every metric I set for myself, and I'm lonelier than I was when I was that scared college kid eating ramen in her dorm. The confession hangs in the air between us. I should be washing dishes, should be keeping my hands busy. Instead, I turn off the water and face her. So, what? You think you can step into our lives and fix that loneliness, use us as some kind of antidote to your empty penthouse. She flinches like I've slapped her. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? Because from where I'm standing, you show up after 15 years, meet my daughter at her science fair, and suddenly you're in my kitchen making sundaes. I need to know what you want from us, Tori. I need to know if this is real or if you're just trying on small-town life like it's some kind of experiment. I want to see if the person I've been measuring everyone against for 15 years actually exists. Her voice shakes now. Or if I invented him to make sense of why I could never connect with anyone else. The words hit me like a fist to the chest. And if that person doesn't exist, if I'm just some mechanic with a kid and a mortgage and no grand dreams beyond making it through each day, then at least I'll know. Tears stream down her face now. At least I can stop wondering, what if? And move forward with my actual life instead of this half version where nothing feels quite real because I'm always comparing it to a memory. From the living room I can hear Emma's show playing, some science documentary about space exploration. The familiar sounds of our normal life now fractured by this conversation. That night when we talked until dawn, when I kissed you, I barely remember it, Tori. I'm sorry, but I don't. I remember the outline, the drunk guys walking you home physics conversations, but I don't remember the specifics. I don't remember what made it so important that you've been thinking about it for 15 years. You made me feel seen. Simple. Direct. For the first time in my life, someone looked at me and saw a person worth protecting, worth staying up all night to talk to, worth kissing like I was something precious. Her voice breaks. And then you were gone, and I've spent 15 years trying to recreate that feeling with someone else. Anyone else. And I couldn't, because they weren't you. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the college kid with big dreams and his whole life ahead of him. I'm a widower who smells like motor oil and can't cook anything except microwave dinners and ice cream sundaes. I'm a guy who goes to bed at 9:30 because I have to be up at 5 to open the shop. I'm boring and small and nothing like what you built your fantasy around. What if boring and small is exactly what I need? The question stops me. What if I don't want another corporate executive who understands my world? What if I want someone who reminds me there's more to life than quarterly earnings and market share? Someone who knows how to make his daughter laugh and fixes strangers' cars for free and builds a life around what actually matters. You don't know me well enough to know if I'm that person. Then let me learn. She steps closer. Let me stay. Let me figure out if this us could be real instead of just a memory I've been clinging to. I'm scared. Terrified, actually. Because standing in my kitchen with this woman who's rearranged her whole life on the possibility of us, I can feel myself falling. Falling the way I fell for Annie, fast and hard and without any safety net. And the thought of losing someone else, of watching Emma lose someone else, makes me want to push her away before she can get close enough to hurt us. I'm scared. Scared you'll figure out I'm not who you remember and disappear. Scared Emma will get attached and then lose another person she cares about. Scared I'll start to believe this could work and then wake up alone when you realize small-town life doesn't match your expectations. I'm scared too. Barely a whisper. Scared I've spent 15 years becoming someone who doesn't know how to do this. Who doesn't know how to be in a relationship that's not transactional. Who doesn't know how to fit into a life that doesn't revolve around work. From the living room. Dad, my show's over. Is Tori still here? The interruption breaks the moment. Tori steps back, wiping her eyes. I take a breath, trying to steady myself. Yeah, sweetheart. She's still here. Emma appears in the doorway, her sharp eyes moving between us. She can read a room better than most adults, this kid. Knows something heavy just happened. Everything okay? Everything's fine. Tori was just about to head home. Oh. Emma's face falls slightly. Okay. Tori kneels down to Emma's eye level. Thank you for sharing your Sunday recipe with me, and for letting me come to your science fair. It meant a lot. You're welcome. Emma hesitates, then adds, you can come back if you want, like if you're still in town. The offering is small but significant. My daughter, who guards her heart like a fortress, just opened a window. I'd like that. I walk Tori out to her car, the night's clear and cold, stars visible in a way they never are in Denver. We stand on my front porch, the porch light creating this small bubble of warmth in the darkness. I meant what I said in there. I'm scared. Terrified, actually. Because I'm falling for you and I don't know what to do with that. Her breath catches. You're falling for me. Have been since you walked into my shop with those overpriced sandwiches. I run a hand through my hair. Maybe even before that. Maybe since the moment on the highway when you looked at me like you knew me. I've been falling for you for 15 years. I just didn't realize it until I saw you again. I step closer. Close enough to see the gold flecks in her eyes. Close enough to smell whatever expensive perfume she wears mixed with the chocolate from the sundaes. This is insane. We barely know each other. 2 weeks in the present tense doesn't make a relationship. Then let's get to know each other. Really know each other. She reaches up, touches my face with fingers that tremble slightly. No more running. No more pushing away out of fear. Just trying. I'm half a second from kissing her, from crossing this line that I can't uncross, from taking this leap that terrifies me more than anything has since Annie died. And then my phone rings. The ringtone is Emma's school, at 8:30 on a Friday night, which means something's wrong. I have to answer it. Tori steps back. I pull out my phone, already dreading what I'm about to hear. Mr. Sullivan, this is Ms. Patterson, Emma's counselor. I'm calling about an incident this morning. My stomach drops. What kind of incident? Emma punched another student during recess. Drew blood from the girl's nose. We need to discuss suspension. I'm aware of Tori watching me, her face concerned. I turn slightly, trying to process this. Emma punched someone that doesn't sound like her. I understand this is out of character. That's why I'm calling tonight rather than waiting until Monday. I think we need to talk about what's been going on with Emma. There are some things you should know. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting on my porch steps with my head in my hands. Tori's still here. She didn't leave even when I told her she could. Just sat down beside me and waited while I processed what Ms. Patterson had told me. Another girl told Emma that her birth caused Annie's death. Told her that if she'd never been born, Annie wouldn't have been driving to pick her up from preschool that day. Wouldn't have been on the road when that truck ran the red light. Oh my God. And Emma's been carrying this for 4 years, believing she killed her own mother. I look up at the stars, trying not to lose it completely. The counselor says this is called magical thinking. Kids believe they have power over events they don't understand. They create cause and effect chains that make sense to them even when they're wrong. What did Emma say when they asked her about it? Nothing. She shut down completely. Won't talk about it. Just sat there silent while they called me. I start pacing. I have to fix this. I have to make her understand it wasn't her fault. Jake. She's 8 years old and she thinks she killed her mother. How did I not see this? How did I not know she was carrying this? Tori stands, puts her hands on my shoulders, forces me to stop pacing and look at her. You can't blame yourself for not seeing something Emma was hiding. Kids are good at hiding pain, especially when they think talking about it will hurt the people they love. I'm her father. I should have known. You're human, and you've been grieving too. You can't protect her from everything even when you want to. The kindness in her voice, the understanding, breaks something open in my chest. I let her pull me into a hug, let myself lean on someone for the first time in 4 years. There's a counseling appointment Monday. Ms. Patterson set it up. She says Emma needs professional help processing this, that it's beyond what I can fix alone. Then you get her that help, and you show up for her, and you love her through it. Tori pulls back enough to meet my eyes. You're a good father, Jake. The fact that you're this devastated proves that. I don't feel like a good father right now. Good fathers rarely do. My phone buzzes, a text from Diane heard about Emma. If you need anything, someone to watch her, someone to talk to, someone to hunt down that little brat who said those things, I'm here. Small towns. Everyone knows everything, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. I should go in, check on Emma, make sure she's okay. Of course. Tori steps back, gives me space. I'll head back to the cabin. Tori, I catch her hand before she can walk away. Thank you. For staying. For listening. For not running when things got complicated. I told you I wasn't going anywhere. I know, I'm not used to people actually meaning that. She squeezes my hand. Get used to it. I watch her drive away, then head inside. Emma's in her room, door closed. I knock softly. Can I come in? Silence. Then quietly, okay. She's sitting on her bed, still in her clothes from the science fair, staring at the wall. I sit beside her, not touching, just present. Ms. Patterson called me. Emma's shoulders tense. She told me what Madison said to you. About Mom Annie. About it being your fault. It is my fault. Her voice is flat, emotionless, in a way that scares me more than tears would. If I'd never been born, Mom would still be alive. No, baby. No. I turn her to face me, needing her to see my eyes. Mom's death was not your fault. It was an accident. A terrible, unfair accident that had nothing to do with you. But she was driving to pick me up. She was driving because she loved you, because being your mom was the best thing in her life. And yes, she was on that road because of you, but that doesn't mean you caused the accident. The person who caused it was the truck driver who ran the red light. But if I hadn't existed, then I wouldn't have you. And you're the best thing that ever happened to me and your mom. I pull her into my lap even though she's getting too big for this. Emma, listen to me. Your mom loved you more than anything in this world. She wouldn't want you carrying this guilt. She'd be heartbroken to know you've been hurting like this. Finally, she breaks. Sobs shaking her small frame, 4 years of grief and guilt pouring out. I hold her through it, making soothing sounds I don't remember learning, just letting her feel everything she's been holding in. I miss her. I miss her so much, and I can't even remember her face without looking at pictures. I know, baby, I know, I miss her too. We stay like that until her tears run out, until she's hiccuping and exhausted and wrung out. I carry her to the bathroom, help her brush her teeth, get her into pajamas, tuck her into bed like I did when she was 4. Dad? Her voice is small in the dark. Yeah. Is Tori going to leave too? The question sucker punches me, because I don't know the answer. I want to believe Tori will stay, that she meant what she said about not running. But I've learned the hard way that wanting something doesn't make it true. I don't know, but I think she's trying really hard not to. Okay. Emma's quiet for a moment. I like her. She's nice. And she fixed my science project. She did. Do you like her? I think about Tori on my porch telling me I'm a good father, about her staying even when things got hard, about the way she looked at Emma not like an obligation but like someone she genuinely cared about. Yeah, I like her a lot. Then maybe you should tell her that, before she thinks you don't and leaves anyway. Out of the mouths of babes. Monday morning starts with an email from Tori. Jake, I had to go back to Denver for an emergency meeting. My biggest client, Western Transport, 30% of revenue, is threatening to pull their contract unless I'm there full time. Board meeting this afternoon. I'll call you tonight. I'm sorry. I stare at the email while my coffee goes cold. She left. Not permanently, maybe, but she left. Just when things were getting real. Just when Emma was starting to open up. Just when I was starting to believe this could actually work. Everything okay? Diane asks from the doorway of my office. Tori had to go back to Denver. Client crisis. And you think that means she's not coming back? It's not a question. Why would she? She's got a company worth hundreds of millions. Real responsibilities, not just changing oil and rotating tires. Don't do that. Diane's voice is sharp. Don't diminish what you do. You employ 6 people in this town. You keep people's cars running so they can get to work, get their kids to school, live their lives. That's real responsibility. It's not the same as, it's exactly the same. Different scale, same importance. She crosses her arms. And stop assuming the worst. Maybe she really does have a client crisis. Maybe she's trying to figure out how to restructure her life so she can be here more. Did you consider that? I hadn't, because assuming the worst protects you from disappointment. You're going to lose her if you keep pushing her away. Not because she doesn't care, but because you won't let her in. The counseling appointment with Emma is at 3. I leave Tommy in charge of the shop and drive to Boulder, where Dr. Rebecca Stone's office is located. It's a 40-minute drive that feels like hours. Emma's quiet in the back seat. She's been quiet since Friday night, processing everything that came out. I called the school and got Madison's parents' number, had a conversation that started civil and ended with me barely keeping my temper. They apologized, said Madison would apologize too, but the damage is already done. Dr. Stone is a child psychologist who specializes in grief and trauma. Her office is designed to be non-threatening: beanbag chairs, art supplies, toys scattered around like it's a playroom rather than a therapy space. Emma, I understand you've been carrying some heavy feelings about your mom's death. Emma nods but doesn't speak. Would it be okay if we talked about those feelings, just you and me, for a bit? Another nod. I step out into the waiting room, pacing until my legs ache. 45 minutes later, Dr. Stone invites me back in. Emma and I had a good conversation, she says, while Emma colors at a table across the room. She's been experiencing what we call survivor's guilt, believing that she's responsible for her mother's death because the accident happened while Annie was driving to pick her up. How do we fix this? We don't fix it, we process it. Dr. Stone's voice is gentle. Emma needs consistent therapy to work through these feelings. It's going to take time, months, possibly years. This kind of magical thinking is deeply rooted, especially in a child who experienced trauma at such a young age. Years. Emma's been carrying this for 4 years already, and she might need years more to heal. What can I do? Be present. Be honest. Let her talk about Annie without shutting down. And this is important. Model healthy grieving yourself. If Emma sees you're stuck, she'll believe being stuck is normal. The words land like an accusation. Because I am stuck. Have been for 4 years. Living in this holding pattern where I go through the motions but don't actually move forward. There's one more thing. Emma mentioned someone named Tori. Said she's been spending time with your family. Yes. We're figuring out what she is. Emma's worried about getting attached and having Tori leave, which is understandable given her history. But she's also excited about the possibility of having someone new in her life. Try to support that while being honest about the uncertainty. Great, no pressure. Tori doesn't call Monday night like she promised, or Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, I've convinced myself Diane was wrong. She's not coming back. She's realized this was a fantasy, and she's cutting her losses. Then my phone rings while I'm rebuilding a transmission. Jake, I'm so sorry I didn't call last night. The board meeting ran until midnight, and then I had to... She sounds exhausted. Stressed. Can we talk? Yeah. I wipe my hands, walk outside where it's quieter. How'd it go? Western Transport was bluffing. They don't actually want to leave. They just wanted to test if I'd prioritize them. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Corporate games. I forgot how much I hate them. So you're staying in Denver? No, that's what I'm calling about. I hear papers rustling. I restructured the company, promoted my COO, Sarah Martinez, to CEO. I'm transitioning to executive chair, which is mostly strategic oversight. Can be done remotely except for 2 days a week in Denver. My heart's pounding so hard I can barely hear her. You did what? I restructured my company so I can be in Ridgemont with you and Emma, if you still want that. Tori, that's a huge sacrifice. You built that company from nothing. It's not a sacrifice if I'm choosing what matters. Her voice cracks. I spent 15 years building an empire that left me empty. I don't want to spend 15 more years making the same mistake. I want to build something real, with you. If you'll let me. I'm standing in my shop parking lot, trying not to cry like an idiot. When are you coming back? Tomorrow. I have one more meeting in the morning, then I'm driving straight to Ridgemont. She pauses. How's Emma? How did the counseling go? The fact that she's asking that she remembered and cares does something to my chest. It went okay. She's got a long road ahead, years of therapy probably, but Dr. Stone thinks she'll be okay eventually. And you? How are you? No one's asked me that in 4 years. Everyone asks about Emma, about the shop, about practical things. No one asks how I'm doing. I'm scared. Scared you're going to figure out this life isn't what you want. Scared Emma's going to get attached and then lose you. Scared I'm going to fall for you completely and then wake up alone when you realize you miss your old life. I don't miss my old life, Jake. I miss what I thought my old life could give me. But it never did. It was just empty achievement after empty achievement. She takes a shaky breath. I'm scared too. Scared I don't know how to do this. How to be in a real relationship with real stakes. How to be part of a family. But I want to learn. I want to try. Then come home. Come home and we'll figure it out together. Thursday afternoon, I get stuck on a tow call. Some idiot tried to drive a sedan through a flooding creek on Highway 70, got stuck, needs extracting. It's going to take at least an hour. I call Emma's school to let them know I'll be late for pickup. Except Mrs. Rodriguez, the carpool mom who usually covers when I'm running behind, already left. Soccer practice ends in 20 minutes, and Emma will be stranded. I'm about to call Diane when my phone rings. Unknown Ridgemont number. Dad? Emma, whose phone is this? Coach's. Her voice is small, scared. Mrs. Rodriguez had to leave and I called you, but you didn't answer and I didn't know what to do, So you what, baby? I called Tori. Is that okay? My heart stops. Not because she called Tori, because she called Tori instead of Diane or any of the other adults in her life. Because in Emma's hierarchy of trust, Tori has somehow moved from stranger dad likes to person I can count on in an emergency. Of course it's okay. Is she coming? She said she'd be here in 10 minutes. Is that okay, Dad? I know you said to be careful about who I trust, but Emma, it's fine. It's perfect. I'll be there as soon as I can, but Tori will take care of you until then. Okay? Okay. I finished the tow job in record time, driving to the elementary school soccer field with my pulse racing. When I pull in, I see Tori's car and my daughter sitting on the bench beside her. They're talking. I can see Emma's mouth moving. Tori listening with the kind of attention that makes people feel heard. And when Emma leans slightly against Tori's shoulder, just a small movement, barely noticeable, something in my chest cracks wide open. I approach slowly, not wanting to interrupt. Thought you left. Everyone leaves eventually. I went to Denver for meetings, but I came back. I'll always come back, Emma. How do you know? Because I promised your dad I would try, and I keep my promises. That's when Emma sees me. She jumps up, runs over, crashes into me with enough force to knock me back a step. Dad? Hey, kiddo. I'm sorry I was late. It's okay. Tori came. She pulls back, looks up at me with eyes that are Annie's and mine, and entirely her own. She came when I called. Like you always do. Tori's standing now, hanging back to give us space. But I reach out, pull her into our hug. The three of us standing in the fading afternoon light on a soccer field in Ridgemont, Colorado. And it feels like family. Thank you, I say to Tori over Emma's head. Always. That night with Emma asleep upstairs, I tell Tori the truth. We put on a movie for Emma after dinner. Some animated thing about emotions that's probably too on the nose given everything we've been dealing with, but Emma loves it. Halfway through, she falls asleep, sprawled across the couch, head on my lap. Feet on Tori's. I should carry her to bed. But I don't want to move. Don't want to break this moment where the three of us are tangled together like we belong this way. Tori's looking at Emma with such tenderness it makes my throat tight. She called you today, when she was stranded. I know. She called you instead of Diane, instead of half a dozen other adults who've known her whole life. I know. Do you understand what that means? She looks at me then and her eyes are wet. It means she's starting to trust me. It means she's starting to love you. I take a breath. And so am I. The confession hangs in the air between us. Emma shifts in her sleep, mumbles something about ice cream, settles again. I'm sorry for what I said Monday. About you leaving. For assuming the worst. I'm just scared. I know. You've told me. I'm falling for you. Have been since you walked into my shop. Maybe even before that. And it terrifies me because the last time I fell this fast, this hard, I got 12 good years and then she was gone. Just gone. And I don't think I could survive that again. Jake. But I also can't keep pushing you away out of fear. Can't keep protecting myself from something good just because I'm scared of losing it. That's not living. That's just surviving. Tori's crying now, trying to be quiet so she doesn't wake Emma. I'm falling for you too. Have been for 15 years if I'm honest. And I'm terrified I'm going to mess this up. That I'm going to be too much or not enough or fundamentally wrong for this life you've built. But I want to try. I want to be brave enough to try. I shift carefully, trying not to wake Emma, and cup Tori's face with my free hand. Then let's try. Both of us. Scared, but trying anyway. Okay. I kiss her then. soft and careful with my daughter asleep between us. It's nothing like that first kiss 15 years ago, desperate and passionate and full of possibility. This is quieter, steadier, a promise instead of a question. When we pull apart, Emma's eyes are open, watching us with that knowing look kids get. Finally. I've been waiting for you two to figure that out. How long have you been awake? Long enough to hear Dad say he's falling for you. She sits up, rubbing her eyes. Which is good because I am too. Falling for you, I mean. If that's okay. Tori's crying harder now, pulling Emma into a hug. That's more than okay. That's perfect. Sunday morning, Tori shows up at my house with coffee and a plan. I talk to my board. Sarah's officially CEO as of next month. I'm transitioning to executive chair, strategic oversight, big picture decisions, but day-to-day operations are hers. And they were okay with that. They were thrilled. Sarah's been ready for this for years. And honestly, Mitchell Logistics will probably run better without me micromanaging every decision. I sip my coffee, processing. What does this mean practically? It means I'll be in Denver Mondays and Tuesdays for board meetings and key client relationships. The rest of the week I'm here, working remotely from Ridgemont. She meets my eyes. If that's okay with you? Tori, that's a massive restructuring of your life. I know. You're giving up control of the company you built from nothing. I'm not giving it up. I'm sharing it. And I'm choosing to prioritize differently. She reaches across the table, takes my hand. I've spent 15 years optimizing for professional success, and it left me empty. I want to optimize for something else now. For you. For Emma. For a life that actually feels like living. What if you resent me someday for making you give this up? You're not making me do anything. I'm choosing this. Big difference. She squeezes my hand. And I won't resent you because this isn't a sacrifice. It's choosing what matters. Emma appears in the doorway, hair sticking up in every direction, still in her pajamas. Is Tori staying for breakfast? If your dad's making pancakes, can you make them? Dad's pancakes are always lumpy. Hey, but Tori's already up, rolling up her sleeves, asking where I keep the mixing bowls, and watching her move around my kitchen like she belongs there, teaching Emma the proper pancake flipping technique while my daughter laughs. I realize something. This could work. This insane, improbable 15 years in the making thing could actually work. 2 weeks later, Dr. Stone asks to see all three of us together. Me, Emma, and surprisingly, Tori. Emma mentioned that Tori's been spending a lot of time with your family. I think it would be beneficial to include her in this session, if everyone's comfortable with that. I asked Emma that night over dinner. Dr. Stone wants Tori to come to your next appointment. How do you feel about that? Emma pushes rice around her plate, thinking. Will she have to know all the stuff I've been talking about? About Mom Annie and the guilt and everything? Probably some of it, yeah. Okay. She nods, decided. She should know. If she's going to be around, she should know the hard stuff too. Not just the easy parts. The wisdom of an 8-year-old never ceases to floor me. So Tuesday afternoon, the three of us drive to Boulder together. Tori in the passenger seat, Emma in the back singing along to some pop song on the radio. It feels normal in a way that would have seemed impossible a month ago. Dr. Stone's office feels smaller with 3 adults in it. Emma settles into her usual beanbag chair, and I notice she's wearing the NASA t-shirt Tori bought her last week. A small thing, but significant. Emma, you've been doing really good work these past few weeks. Talking about your mom, about the accident, about the guilt you've been carrying. Emma nods, not meeting anyone's eyes. Today I want to talk about something you mentioned last session, about having 2 moms. My breath catches. I glance at Tori, see her sitting very still. I made a family tree for school, Emma says quietly, and I put both of them on it. Mom Annie in one branch and she trails off. And Mom Tori in another branch. Emma finally looks up at Tori specifically. Is that okay? Can I call you that, Mom? Tori. I watch Tori's face crumble, tears streaming down before she can stop them. Emma, I would be honored, more than honored, but I need you to understand something. Tori slides off her chair, kneels in front of Emma's beanbag so they're eye level. Your Mom Annie will always be your mom. Nothing about me being here changes that. She gave you life, she loved you. She shaped who you are. I'm not trying to replace her. I know. That's why it's Mom Annie and Mom Tori. Two different people. Both my moms. How does that feel, having two moms? Emma considers this seriously. At first, it felt like cheating. Like if I loved Mom Tori, it meant I didn't love Mom Annie enough. But Dad explained that love doesn't work like that. How does it work? Love isn't a pie where if you give someone a piece, there's less for everyone else. Emma recites this like she's memorized it. It's more like a fire. The more you share it, the bigger it grows. I have to look away, blinking hard. That's what I told her 2 weeks ago, word for word, and she actually listened. That's very wise. And how do you feel about the guilt we've been discussing? About your mom's accident. Emma's quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice is small but steady. Mom, Annie died because a truck driver ran a red light. Not because I was born. Not because she was picking me up. She died because someone else made a bad choice. She looks at me. Right, Dad. Right, baby. And Mom Annie loved being my mom. You said that was the best part of her life. It was. So even though I'm still sad she's gone, I'm trying not to feel guilty anymore. Because Dr. Stone says the guilt isn't helping anyone. It's just making me hurt. I'm crying now. Can't help it. This kid, this brilliant, brave kid, is doing the hardest work any of us ever do. She's choosing to heal. Tori reaches over, squeezes my hand. I'm so proud of you. So incredibly proud. Me too. After the session on the drive home, Emma asks from the back seat, Mom, Tori, do you think Mom Annie would like you? Tori glances at me, uncertain how to answer. I nod. It's okay. I don't know, but I hope so. I hope she'd see that I love you and your dad, that I'm trying really hard to be good for you both. I think she'd like you, because you make Dad smile again. He stopped smiling after she died, but now he smiles all the time. I know I want to marry her. The realization hits me on a random Wednesday afternoon while I'm replacing brake pads on a Honda Civic. Tori's working from the coffee shop across the street, visible through the window. Emma's at school. Life is just happening. Normal and boring and perfect. And I think I want this forever. I want Tori in my kitchen making pancakes. I want her at Emma's counseling sessions. I want her beside me when I wake up, and across from me at dinner, and tangled up with me on the couch watching movies neither of us are paying attention to. I want to marry her. The problem is I have no idea how to propose to a woman who's already given up so much, who's restructured her entire life around the possibility of us. What can I possibly offer her that would be worthy of that sacrifice? I'm still wrestling with this when Diane corners me Friday afternoon. You're going to propose, aren't you? I nearly dropped the wrench I'm holding. How did you, Jake? You've been walking around with this dopey look on your face for a week, and I saw you Googling engagement rings on your phone during lunch. She crosses her arms. So when are you doing it? I don't know. I want to make it special. She deserves special. What does Tori actually want? I think about this. Tori, who turned down 5-star restaurants for microwave dinners, who traded her penthouse for a rented cabin, who seems happiest in my kitchen wearing old jeans and one of my t-shirts. She wants real. She wants honest. She wants the opposite of everything her old life was. Then give her that. Diane's smiling now. Give her something that means something. Not expensive. Meaningful. That night after Emma's in bed, I sit at my workbench in the garage. The same workbench my dad taught me to rebuild engines on, where I've fixed 1,000 broken things over the years. I'm going to make her ring, not buy one. Make one. With my own hands, the way I make everything that matters. I start with titanium, lightweight, strong, won't tarnish. Spend hours researching how to work with it, watching YouTube tutorials at midnight while Emma sleeps. It takes me 2 weeks of late nights in the garage learning as I go scrapping 3 attempts before I get it right. The band is simple. Clean lines, no unnecessary decoration. But around the circumference, I etch a pattern, gears and pistons rendered in miniature. Mechanical art. A mechanic's love letter in metal. It's not perfect. A jeweler would probably cringe at my amateur work. But every millimeter of it was made by my hands, shaped with the same care I bring to fixing engines, the same care I want to bring to building a life with her. What are you working on out here? I turned to find Emma in the doorway wearing her pajamas. Kiddo, you should be asleep. I heard you in the garage. She comes closer, stands on tiptoe to see what's on the workbench. Her eyes go wide when she sees the ring. Is that for Mom, Tori? I could lie. But I'm trying to be better about honesty with my daughter. Yeah, I'm going to ask her to marry us. Marry us? Well, marry me. But it affects you too. So I should probably ask if you're okay with it first. Emma picks up the ring, carefully examining it in the light. You made this. I did. It's beautiful. She sets it down gently. When are you going to ask her? I don't know yet. I want to make it special. Somewhere that means something. Emma thinks for a moment, that serious expression that means she's problem-solving. What about the place where you first saw her again, the mountain road where her car broke down? The idea stops me cold, because it's perfect. The place where our story started or restarted, where a broken-down Mercedes turned into a second chance. That's brilliant, Emma. I know, she grins. Can I help plan it? Absolutely. We spend the next week planning in secret. Emma's surprisingly good at this, suggesting I bring coffee in a thermos pack, a blanket, pick a time when the sunset will hit just right. She even draws a picture of what she thinks the moment should look like, 2 stick figures on a mountain with a heart between them. Do you think she'll say yes? I hope so. I really hope so. She will. She loves us, I can tell. Saturday morning, I tell Tori we're taking a drive. Emma's with Diane for the day, a sleepover she insisted on once she knew the plan. Where are we going? You'll see. She doesn't push, just settles into the passenger seat with coffee from the thermos I packed. It's a perfect Colorado spring day, sky so blue it hurts to look at mountains still snow-capped in the distance. I drive us to Highway 70, to the exact spot where her Mercedes broke down 3 months ago. Pull over onto the same gravel shoulder, kill the engine. Why are we here? Because this is where it started. I get out, go to the truck bed, pull out the blanket and second thermos. Come on. We walk to the overlook, the same spot where she'd stood that first day, phone searching uselessly for signal. I spread the blanket on a relatively flat rock and we sit watching the valley spread out below us. 3 months ago, I stopped to help a stranger whose car wouldn't start. Tightened a loose battery terminal. Refused payment. Thought I'd never see her again. And she turned out to be the girl I'd been half remembering for 15 years. The one I'd kissed at dawn and then lost. I take her hand. The one who built an empire trying to prove she was worth that kiss. Jake, let me finish. I take a breath, trying to remember the words I've practiced 100 times. You came back into my life when I'd convinced myself I was fine being alone. That protecting myself was smarter than risking my heart. And you proved me wrong in every possible way. I pull out the wooden box from my jacket pocket. Watch her eyes widen when she recognizes what this must be. You love my daughter like she's yours. You've rearranged your entire life around the possibility of us. You make me laugh again. Make me believe the best years aren't behind me, they're ahead. With you. I open the box, show her the ring I made. Victoria Mitchell, will you marry me? She's crying before I finish the question. Hands shaking as she reaches for the ring, lifts it from the box. You made this, whispers examining the etched gears. Took me 2 weeks and 3 failed attempts. It's not perfect. It's perfect. She slides it onto her finger. The fit is exact. I'd measured her jewelry when she wasn't paying attention. It's the most perfect thing I've ever seen. Is that a yes? Yes. She's laughing through tears now. Yes. 1,000 times. Yes. I pull her into my arms, kiss her with the mountain wind whipping around us. This is nothing like that first kiss 15 years ago that had been tentative questioning, full of teenage uncertainty. This is solid. Sure. A promise being made and kept. When we break apart, she's examining the ring again. Gears and pistons. The pattern is based on a 1969 Mustang engine. First car I ever rebuilt with my dad. You are the most romantic man I've ever met, and you don't even know it. I'm a mechanic who smells like motor oil. You're a man who spent 2 weeks making me a ring with your own hands because buying one wouldn't have meant as much. She kisses me again. You're a man who loves his daughter enough to include her in the planning, who chose this spot because it's where our story restarted. That's romance, Jake. Real romance. Not expensive restaurants or grand gestures. This. We sit on that blanket until the sun starts to set, painting the valley in shades of gold and pink, planning our future in broad strokes, small wedding soon because neither of us wants to wait. Tori moving into my house officially, building a life that honors the past while embracing the future. I should probably ask you something. Annie's mom, Carol, she wants to meet you. Before the wedding, she has something she wants to give you. Tori goes very still. Annie's mother wants to meet me. She knows about us, about how serious this is, and she has her blessing to give, if you'll receive it. Of course I will, Tori's crying again. I didn't expect that. Annie's family is generous like that. You'll see. Carol Parker lives in Boulder in the same craftsman house where Annie grew up. I haven't been here since the funeral 4 years ago. Walking up the front steps with Tori beside me feels surreal. You okay? Nervous? Me too. Carol answers the door before we can knock. She's aged since I last saw her, more gray and her hair deeper lines around her eyes. Grief does that to people. Jake, she pulls me into a hug. It's good to see you. You too, Carol. She steps back, looks at Tori. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. Then Carol's face softens into a smile. You must be Victoria. Tori, please. Tori extends her hand, but Carol pulls her into a hug instead. Come in. I made tea. The house is exactly as I remember it. Photos of Annie everywhere, childhood, high school, college, wedding day with baby Emma. A shrine to a life cut short. I see Tori taking it all in, see her trying not to cry. We settle in the living room with tea. Neither of us is really drinking. Carol sits across from us, studying Tori with the same assessing gaze Emma used when they first met. Jake tells me you're a CEO. Was. I restructured the company. I'm executive chair now, mostly remote work. Why? The bluntness catches Tori off guard. Because I wanted to be in Ridgemont, with Jake and Emma. That's a significant sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice if I'm choosing what matters. Carol nods slowly. Annie used to say something similar. That success wasn't about climbing ladders or accumulating achievements. It was about choosing people worth building a life around. The mention of Annie sits heavy in the room. I know I can't replace her. I would never try to. Annie was Emma's mother, Jake's wife. She shaped both of their lives in ways I'll never fully understand. I'm trying to love them the way they deserve, to be worthy of the space they're making for me. Carol's eyes fill with tears. Do you know what Annie told me in those final days in the hospital? I tense. We've never discussed this, what Annie said at the end. She made me promise something. Carol sets down her tea. She made me promise that when Jake found someone new, not if, when I would welcome her, support her, give her Annie's blessing. Tori's crying now. She did. My daughter knew she was dying, knew what that would mean for Jake, for Emma. And rather than being bitter about it, she thought about their futures, about making sure they'd be okay after she was gone. Carol pulls out a letter from her pocket. She wrote this a week before she died. I want you to read it. She hands it to me. Not Tori. My hands shake as I unfold it. The handwriting is shaky. Annie was already weak by then, but the words are clear. Jake, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And you've found someone new. Someone brave enough to love a widower with a kid and all the baggage that comes with that. First, I'm so proud of you for trying again, for not giving up on happiness just because I'm not there to share it. Second, to whoever you are, unknown woman reading over my husband's shoulder, thank you. Thank you for loving my family when I can't anymore. Thank you for being brave enough to step into a space that's still haunted by someone else's memory. You have my blessing. All of it. Love Jake with everything you have. Love Emma like she's yours. Don't hold back out of guilt or fear that you're betraying me. The best way to honor my memory is to make them happy. Jake, don't spend your life alone. Don't let guilt keep you from joy. Move forward. Build something beautiful with this woman. Let Emma have a mother figure who loves her. That's what I want for both of you. I love you. I'll always love you. But that love means wanting you to be happy even when I'm not there to see it. All my love, Annie. I'm sobbing before I finish reading it. Tori's crying into my shoulder. Even Carol's wiping at her eyes. She wanted this for you. Wanted you to find love again. To build a new family while honoring the old one. I don't know what to say. Say you'll take care of each other. Say you'll tell Emma about her mother. Not just the sanitized memories, but the real woman. Flaws and all. Say you'll include Annie in your family story instead of erasing her. Always. I promise. Carol stands, goes to a closet, returns with a garment bag. This was Annie's wedding veil, and her mother's before her. 3 generations have worn it. She hands it to Tori. I want you to wear it when you marry Jake. Tori's shaking as she takes it. I can't, this is too much. My daughter would want you to have it, would want you to be part of this family's story. Carol smiles through tears. Welcome to the family, Tori. We keep the wedding small. 75 people crammed into the First Baptist Church on Main Street, the same church where I married Annie 12 years ago. I thought that might feel strange. Wrong, even. But Pastor Jennifer assured me it was fine. Love doesn't diminish love. Annie would want this. The guest list is a strange mix. Ridgemont locals I've known my whole life sitting next to Denver executives in expensive suits. My mechanics from the shop chatting with Tori's board members. Diane serving as my best woman because she threatened me if I picked anyone else. But the person I'm most nervous about is standing at my side. Emma in a pale blue dress clutching a basket of flower petals like her life depends on it. You okay, kiddo? What if I drop the petals wrong? There's no wrong way to drop petals. What if I trip? Then I'll help you up. What if... Emma. I kneel down to her level right there in front of everyone. This day is already perfect because you're here. Nothing you do could mess it up. Okay. She nods, takes a deep breath. The music starts. Emma walks down the aisle, scattering petals with the concentration she brings to science experiments. I watch her go, my heart so full it physically hurts. Then the wedding march begins. Everyone stands, and Tori appears at the back of the church. She's wearing a simple white dress. Nothing fancy, nothing that screams expensive. But the veil, Annie's veil. 3 generations of Parker women have worn that veil, and now it's framing Tori's face as she walks toward me. Carol's in the front row, crying. Diane's crying. Half the church is crying. I might be crying too. When Tori reaches me, she lifts the veil. Her eyes are shining. Hi. Hi yourself. Pastor Jennifer smiles at us. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. But I barely hear the words. I'm too busy looking at Tori, at Emma standing beside us beaming, at the faces of everyone we love watching us promise to build a life together. When it's time for vows, I pull out the card I've been carrying all week, the one I've rewritten 17 times. Tori, 15 years ago you walked into my life for one night, showed me what it meant to be seen, to be valued, to be treated like I mattered. I take a breath. Then life took you away, and I moved on, built a life, married Annie, had Emma. Thought I'd forgotten you completely. I glance at Emma, who nods encouragingly. But you came back, drove 90 minutes to thank me for fixing your car, and slowly, terrifyingly reminded me what it feels like to hope, to want, to believe in second chances. Tori's crying openly now. You saw past the grease stains and the modest house to something worth fighting for. You love my daughter like she's yours. You make me laugh again. Make me believe the best years aren't behind me, they're ahead. With you. I take her hands. So today, I promise to choose you every single day. To be honest, even when it's hard. To build a life where we're both brave enough to try. To honor the past while embracing the future. To love you with everything I have. Tori wipes at her eyes, takes her own breath. Jake, I spent 15 years trying to become someone I thought mattered. Building an empire to prove I was worthy of that girl you walked home from the library. Her voice shakes. But I was measuring success by all the wrong metrics. Because real success isn't revenue or market share or Forbes profiles. She looks at Emma, then back at me. Real success is this. Coming home to people who actually see you, who love you not for what you've achieved, but for who you are, who make you feel like you finally found where you belong. She squeezes my hands. You showed me what I'd been missing, what I'd been searching for in all the wrong places. And when I found you again, when you let me into your life, into Emma's life, I finally understood what I'd been building toward. Not away from that scared college girl, toward being someone brave enough to accept love when it's offered. Now I'm the one crying. So I promise to choose you and Emma every single day, to show up even when it's hard, to build a home instead of an empire, to love you both with everything I have, to be Mom Tori to this brilliant girl who trusted me enough to let me in, and to honor Annie's memory by loving the family she built with the same fierce devotion she would have. There's not a dry eye in the church. Pastor Jennifer's voice is thick with emotion. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Jake, you may kiss your bride. I pull Tori into my arms, kiss her with the mountain town church, full of everyone we love bearing witness. She tastes like tears and joy and coming home. When we break apart, Emma throws herself at both of us, wrapping her arms around our waists. We're a family now, official and everything. 6 months later, I'm teaching Emma how to change her first tire in the shop parking lot. She's almost 10 now, another month, and determined to learn everything about engines. Loosen the lug nuts before you jack up the car. If you wait until it's in the air, the wheel will just spin and you'll never get them off. That makes sense. She applies the wrench with the focus she brings to everything. It's all about leverage and stability. Exactly. Tori's inside the shop working on her laptop at the desk we set up for her. She's in Denver 2 days a week like she promised, but the rest of the time she's here, part of the fabric of Ridgemont now. Knows everyone's name, stops at mountain grounds every morning, volunteers at Emma's school. Last month, she joined the school board. Someone has to make sure they're teaching science properly, as if we didn't all know it was really about being involved in Emma's education. Dad, you're staring. Am I? At Mom Tori, through the window. You do it all the time. Can you blame me? Nope. She's pretty great. Emma gets the last lug nut loose, looks up at me with grease on her face. Do you think Mom Annie would be proud of us? Of how we're doing? The question doesn't hurt the way it used to. We talk about Annie regularly now. Dr. Stone says that's healthy, keeping her part of our story instead of locked away in painful silence. I think she'd be really proud. You're brilliant and kind and brave. That's all she ever wanted for you. And you're happy. She wanted that too. I am happy. Good. Emma wipes her hands on a rag. Now help me get this spare on before Mom Tori finishes her conference call and makes us come in for lunch. Right on cue, Tori appears in the doorway. Lunch in 5 minutes, and Jake, you promised you'd eat something other than vending machine chips today. I'm teaching our daughter valuable life skills. You can teach valuable life skills after you eat an actual sandwich. Emma giggles. She's got you there, Dad. We finish mounting the spare tire, wash our hands in the shop sink, and head inside. Tori's set up lunch at the small table in the office, sandwiches from the deli, cut fruit water bottles. How's the tire lesson going? Great. Emma launches into a detailed explanation of leverage and lug nuts while Tori listens with genuine interest. This is my life now. Teaching my daughter mechanics in the morning, eating lunch with my wife in the afternoon, going home to family dinners and homework help and bedtime rituals. It's ordinary and boring and absolutely perfect. My phone buzzes. Email from Carol, Emma's birthday party next month. I'm bringing the cake. No arguments. I show it to Tori, who smiles. Your mother-in-law is very bossy. Both of my mothers-in-law are bossy. Carol and your mom are cut from the same cloth. Tori's mom had flown out from Ohio for the wedding, had taken one look at our setup and declared it unconventional but lovely. High praise from a woman who'd spent her life conforming to expectations. Speaking of birthdays, I've been thinking. Dangerous. What if we did something special this year? Not just a party. Something meaningful. Like what? She glances at Emma, who's scrolling through her phone looking at tire installation videos. What if we took her camping, the three of us, up to Rocky Mountain National Park, made it a real adventure? Emma's head snaps up. Can we? Please. I've been wanting to see the stars without light pollution and test my telescope, and we'll take that as a yes. That night after Emma's in bed, Tori and I sit on the back porch with coffee. It's October, getting cold, but neither of us wants to go inside yet. Do you ever miss it? The old life, the penthouse, the power, the corporate world. No, she doesn't even hesitate. I miss the satisfaction of closing a good deal sometimes, the rush of solving complex problems, but the life itself, the loneliness, never. You gave up a lot. I gained more. She leans against me. I have a family, real friends, work that still challenges me but doesn't consume me, a husband who makes me laugh, a daughter who trusts me enough to call me Mom. She does love you. I love her too. So much it scares me sometimes. Welcome to parenting. We sit in comfortable silence watching stars appear in the darkening sky. Somewhere down the street, someone's playing music, dogs barking, the ordinary sounds of a small town settling in for the night. Jake. Yeah. Thank you. For what? For being brave enough to let me in. For giving me a second chance. For building this life with me. I pull her closer. Thank you for coming back. For seeing something worth staying for. For loving us even when we made it hard. Always. And I believe her. Because some strangers aren't strangers at all. Some are the answer you've been searching for your whole life, just waiting for the right moment to reappear. Some are second chances wrapped in breakdown Mercedes and business cards and 15 years of what-ifs finally becoming what is. And if you're brave enough, if you're willing to tear down the walls you built to survive, to risk your heart one more time, to believe that the best years might still be ahead, you get to keep them. I kiss the top of Tori's head, listening to the sounds of our life. Emma's light turning off upstairs, wind through the trees, my wife's breathing evening out against my shoulder. This is what happiness looks like. Not perfect, not without scars or grief or complicated histories, but real, honest, built on love big enough to hold the past while embracing the future. The kind of love that doesn't erase what came before but makes room for what comes next. The kind that teaches you that hearts don't break from loving again, they break from never trying. And that's more than enough. That's everything.